All right, everybody, welcome back. Next up is Russell Marine Products. So we're going to bring them on screen.
I don't look like a tar.
Hey, fellas, how you doing this morning?
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great.
Hey, guys.
How you been, Steve?
Good, and you?
Good, good.
So assuming you guys can hear us okay, correct?
Yeah.
We can. We can. Look in front of it. Look into your camera, though, so we can see your face. There you go.
I'm sorry. Our laptop's over here, so I keep looking at the laptop, so I look at the camera.
That's okay. That's okay. So tell us a little about who you are and what Russell Marine is, and then we'll go into what you brought for us today.
All right. Well, as you guys know, we're Russell Marine Products. We do anything and everything electronics on any and all kind of boats. So we do installs here at the shop. We sell, service, get out on the water. We use Lowrence, Humminbird, Garmin Electronics, LiveScope, Active Target. So basically anything related to electronics that comes to a boat, we kind of know a little bit about it and utilize it ourselves. We all go fishing. We're all pretty passionate here. So hope to be able to help you guys out, answer some questions, provide some value on that stuff. Obviously, there's a lot on the market right now. It can get real confusing, real quick.
Yeah.
So
that's the biggest thing right now is the challenge of people trying to decide which brand is going to work best for them. And it's gotten very interesting this last year, really, and then especially over the last couple of months. So we had Garmin and Lowrence come out with their trolling motors, which really allowed you to build a full system. And now we've got everybody coming out with live imaging. So
wait a minute, if you can. Lowrence and Garmin are together now?
Oh, no. Sorry.
They each individually have their own trolling motors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Lowrence has got a new trolling motor. Garmin's got a new trolling motor. I'm on board.
Yeah. So everybody's really every individual brand absolutely not connected to one another. They've all built their own full boat systems at this point.
Gotcha.
So that's all happened in the last year or so. Yeah. And it's really changed things quite a bit.
We're seeing technology being utilized and being more of a key player in our industry than more than ever before, whether that's catfish guys looking for shad, whether that's crappie and bass guys looking at live imaging for guys, case in point, yesterday there was a major league fishing tournament that was won using Active Target, which is live imaging, Lowrence's version.
Yeah.
But people were literally chasing down individual fish and catching them on lures and baits and stuff like that.
It's coaling underwater. It's there's no other way to say it. They're literally picking the size of the fish they want to chase beneath the water before they're pulling it up. It's another level. It's really changing things in a very fast manner.
Well, do you have any products to show us today?
Well, we have a few. Running behind us here, we're just running side imaging. So this is Garmin's new GT56 Transducer that they're running. In the past, we saw Humminbird pretty much control side imaging. I mean, it was widely considered them to be the best. Not saying that that's not still the case, but the others are getting a lot closer. This new GT56 that Garmin's running, it pairs with their EchoMap Ultra units and their 8600, their 8000 series GPS map units. It's changed a lot. They've got some new color schemes. They've upped the frequencies, and it's getting a lot more clear. The big thing right now, as far as products we're offering, it's kind of back to what we were talking about before. It's making that decision of what brand works for you. Currently, Lowrence is running excellent factory rebates. Garmin is running factory rebates. So it's just, it's a good time to buy. You know, this time of year, historically, is a great time to buy. People getting ready for the spring. They're getting ready to go. And it's one of those things that you call in, talk to the sales guys, and they can help walk any individual through what's going to truly work best for them and their platform, what they're trying to do.
You know, one of the main things that we do differently here than some other shops do, one, the end of the day, if a customer adamantly wants something, we're going to sell them what they want, whether it's Humminbird, Garmin, Lowrence, whatever they're comfortable with, whatever they want. But every sales guy here is a boat owner, is a fisherman. We're out there utilizing the product. We have boats here that are rigged with all Garmin, all Humminbird, all Lowrence. So we're pretty knowledgeable across all three specific brands. But what I want to get to more than anything else is if somebody says, hey, I am looking for the best side imaging, our guys are going to be brutally honest. Hummingbird's the way that it is, you know, for side imaging right now. Yeah, this Garmin stuff, no offense, it's awesome. Hummingbird's still a little bit better. Okay. But we need to have conversations with customers to have an understanding of what is it that they're looking to accomplish with this new technology. Are they wanting just live imaging? Are they crappie? Are they going after shad and they're going to be throwing a shad net around? We need to kind of have some questions and kind of go through a process or a flow chart with them of what is it specifically that they're looking for, because just because two people are cat fishermen or crappie fishermen or bass fishermen, they're going to have different things that they're interested in. Or if they're going to say, you know, I'm not really into the live imaging thing just yet because I don't understand how that's going to work for me, but I would consider it in the future. Well, that's a different set of units that we're going to go down and explain to that customer. Gotcha. Or if they are, man, I love my Lowrence units, but I really want Garmin LiveScope. What do I need? Well, that's another system of units that we're going to go down. So there is some education behind that I like to get with, because at the end of the day, I don't want anybody frustrated with this technology. And it is technology. It's computer related. It's microprocessors, all that stuff. So we want to make sure they're comfortable and have a good experience with it, because at the end of the day, if you're spending a bunch of money on it and don't understand or don't know how to utilize it, you're just kind of wasting money and wasting time at that point. You know.
So where are you located?
We are smack dab in the middle of catfish country. No, we're in El Dorado, Kansas. So we're actually we're actually about an hour and a half south of Milford. I'm sure a lot of your guys and a lot of other guys attending the conference have heard of Milford Lake and been there and stuff like that. And that kind of leads me into one thing that we've really seen. So we have a ton of customers from the area that are around Milford, guides and stuff that come through here. One of the big things that we've really heard in the past probably year or so is, man, it's really difficult to throw a cast net out there and catch shad. They hear that boat start coming, they just get out of the air, because there's a ton of people trying to find, you know, live bait now and stuff like that. So we have a lot of guides that are utilizing LiveScope to find the shad, shutting their motors off. They don't have the trolling motors going, they're drifting, but they can know where to throw that cast net to be able to reach and catch the shad, you know? So it's a big thing, big deal this time of year and stuff.
Well, the reason I ask you is because we have obviously people from all over the United States watching.
Oh yeah.
Do you provide the same consultation through phone calls or through the internet? So can you talk about that a little bit? How would you reach the people that can't come to Kansas to see?
No, absolutely. One, we have a ton of videos on YouTube explaining product installations and stuff like that. But I mean, we talk to people before the purchase, during the purchase, after the purchase, walking through troubleshooting, installations. We have shops that are around the area that we know generally are a really good installation shop that we can recommend. We've had people drive from California, Florida, North Carolina last year for us to rig their boats. I mean, we schedule them in and get them taken care of, show them how to operate and make sure it's calibrated correctly and all that stuff. It's a lot easier than one might think, truth be told.
Yeah, the reality is that over 90% of our business comes from outside of the state of Kansas. A very small portion of the overall business is actually in Kansas. We, through the website, through our phone lines and emails and things like that, that's what we do. We're truly a national electronics seller. Like I said, I think our number ones are like Texas and the Carolinas.
Yeah.
We sell a lot of stuff in Texas and the Carolinas. And even though we may never meet folks face to face or have that chance, our guys are very skilled over the phone to be able to walk through things and troubleshoot and things like that. I mean, that's our bread and butter. Like Justin said, it's education. We want people to call in from wherever you are, and we'll get you fixed up. You know, we've set up halibut rigs in Alaska. We've got guys in Florida on Okeechobee. We got guys everywhere you could think of.
Spoonbill fishermen, crappie,
you name it. But we love when someone calls in from anywhere and says, this is where I am. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. What do I need? And we can put systems together, whether it's, hey man, I think this 1 9-inch unit's going to work for you, and you're going to spend about $1,000 and you're going to be just great. Or, hey, this is what we think, you know, this quad graph system with an integrated trolling motor, you know, it may run you about 15 grand, but we're going to set you up and you're going to find the fish and you're going to catch them and everything in between.
As a YouTuber, I found you guys early on, and tell folks what the name of your YouTube channel is, because you got some really good content on how-tos and just general information.
It's super easy. It's Russell Marine Products.
Yeah, Russell Marine Products. Yeah. So if you search for
I started watching you guys before your new shop, and then I got to watch you as you built your new shop. So you guys have really grown.
Oh yeah,
the last few years, and it's great to see.
A lot of that was honestly just an education piece for us because when I was younger, I tried fishing professionally on the bass tours and stuff. I was kind of always a Lowrence guy. The number one question is, what transducer do I need and how do I network that? You know, so from there, it was more of a, I don't like to say we sell electronics to a lot of people because that sounds kind of easy. It's more of, I want to educate everybody. I want to make sure people can enjoy the outdoors that I have, Josh has, everybody here has the opportunity to share with their families, get kids disconnected. And it's kind of cliche to say that considering we're adding a lot of technology into fishing now,
right?
But we've seen so many big 3-pound crappie being caught, so many big blue cats being caught, especially this year in the past 2 years because of the floods that have hit the Midwest. So many big largemouth and all these big fish that people are now catching. And it's because of the help of technology that's aided in a lot of that has really helped people get their personal best, get, you know, a fish of a lifetime or have a trip or fishing experience of a lifetime that, you know, don't get me wrong, we all enjoy the water and I enjoy my peace and tranquility being out there, but man, I also want to catch some big fish.
Garmin has kind of messed me up a little bit because I was actually, you know, I own Monster Rod Holders. I was going to try rod holder biz, crappie end of it. And I've got this, some guys that do the American Crappie Trail and everything. Yeah. I said, what do you need in a rod holder? He said, we don't need a rod holder anymore. We got one pole. One pole. And I thought, well, how can I sell some stuff to crappie people now?
Yeah.
I need a one pole holder.
Well, and it's funny you bring that up because with the technology, we have seen a ton of changes. So we're seeing, instead of having guys like crappie rigging out with all these spider rigs just moving the trolling motor constantly, we've got a guy around here, Jim Bybee, great fisherman. And I don't want to take anything away from this at all. He was an incredible crappie fisherman before LiveScope. But now that he's got LiveScope, holy cow. Yeah. I mean, it's you have to understand what you're using. It's a tool to add to your arsenal. But if you don't understand or you don't have the right tool in place, you know, it's still, you're not going to take a level and try to pound in a nail. You need a hammer for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I would like to tell folks that Garmin is cool, but you do have to practice with it. You do
absolutely. Nothing replaces time on the water, whether that's with electronics or intuition or whatever. But utilized correctly, it can save you a lot of time. It can save you money, gas, idling, time, all that encapsulated in that. But the main thing as well too is for me, between having your mapping on your unit, having LiveScope on there and side imaging, I can take what would traditionally take me 3 or 4 days to cover a good section of the lake and eliminate water. I can eliminate half that water just on my map sitting in the garage looking at my unit. I get out and start side imaging with idling around. I can find stumps. I can find humps. I can find drops and stuff like that and pinpoint stuff way faster. And then I can go back with my live imaging and really investigate and see if something's in there or not.
Yeah. And Steve, back to what you said there, you're absolutely right. I mean, these things, we always get it's kind of a running joke. People call us like, is it going to catch me more fish? Like, it's
just because you buy it and put it on your boat. No, it's not.
It's 100% going to find you more fish.
Listen, I got avionics on my phone. It hasn't caught me one fish.
That's right. Yeah. It'll help you find them. You know, I mean, you can find them all day, and I like to hunt a lot, and there's a lot of cool tools that help me find deer a whole lot, but doesn't mean it's going to shoot them for me. Right. So it's the same thing. It's it'll help you find it. It'll help you get on them. Right. It'll help you decipher the big ones from the small ones and the ones you want to spend more time on. At the end of the day, an angler's still going to be an angler.
Oh yeah. You still got to catch them.
Yeah.
We're also wrapping up. We got about 30 seconds left. Okay. I know you guys are coming up after the break and you're going to do kind of like a clinic. Yeah. And we kind of talked about what we would do. I think it would be fun if I was a customer and I'm telling you what I'm going to do and you're going to show me what you're going to set me up with.
Sure. That sounds great.
And I think that would be great. Don't you think it'd be good?
That'd be great.
And then that way they can see how you interact, how you use what you know about electronics and fishing to decide how to help the customer.
That sounds great.
Another thing I want to cover when we come back from the break is we see one kind of tool being underutilized or people not using it very much. And I think it would be very, very helpful for the cat fishermen that we'd love to cover first thing and at least explain a little bit on that.
We'll do that. We'll get you guys a chance to set up. We'll take a quick 5-minute break, and we'll be right back, everybody.
Before
we go.
See you soon.
Have you guys got any like coupon codes or anything you want to give out?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll write that down.
Yeah, we've got CatCon 21 right now, and that will save you on all Russell Marine brand products. It's 15%, I believe, and that runs all the way through this weekend. Any Russell Marine brand product, all of our screen protectors and tungsten weights and all that. And
our Versa mount, our electronics mounting stuff, anything that's a Russell Marine Products branded product, transom savers, all that stuff.
15% off.
And they use CatCon 21 as your promo code.
All caps.
All caps.
All caps. All right, thanks, fellas. We'll see you in a few minutes.
All right,
thanks,
sounds
guys.
good.
All right, guys, welcome back. We're going to bring up our friends from Russell Marine. All right, guys, hopefully got a little stretch break in there.
Yeah.
All right.
A little more coffee and more water.
Yeah, Steve got some more coffee. So you said you wanted to start off with showing us something, so go right ahead.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you full screen.
Now, this is across the board, everyone. So something that we see, there's an awesome accessory out there for live imaging specifically related to Garmin LiveScope. So what I want to talk about just here real briefly this morning is perspective mode mount, which is what we have running here right behind us. Now, what that is, it's a mount. It's about $100, like $99.99 basically. But what it'll do is, with a free download update on your Garmin unit, traditionally we see a Garmin LiveScope transducer is mounted to either a pole mount or your trolling motor in this fashion. But this perspective mode will actually allow you to rotate that transducer horizontally. So you see images like this here. So you can see there's a house foundation right here. We're panning up, there was a log. I'll wait for it to actually slow down. There's a house foundation there. The main thing that we get all the time when we ask people when they call in, like, hey, I want a Garmin unit and a LiveScope. Hey, do you want a perspective mode mount? Well, I don't really see how that's going to pertain to me, or I don't really see how that's going to help me catch fish. I don't think I need it. I think a lot of people are truly missing the boat on this. I've had personal experiences myself with Garmin LiveScope perspective mode to where it has helped me put more fish in the boat 100%. One of the things I want to focus on real quick, especially for you guys coming up, all those catfish are going to be out on the flats early on this time of year. You're looking for shad. You're going to be able to find out where those shad are. Where are they moving to? Are they running along a bank? Is there a ditch in the middle of here that they tend to kind of get near? So you're going to be able to find the shad faster. You're going to be able to find the depressions, the old creek channels, stuff like that. You're actually see some individual fish moving through here as well too. So we were talking about earlier before the break, picking off and kind of I call hunting down individual fish. You absolutely can do that, and perspective mode can help you with that. Again, I think a lot of people don't understand exactly what it means or how it helps them catch fish. But I mean, right here on just some of the imaging, for me, I want to eliminate the water as quickly as possible because I don't want to waste time or energy or casting to places that don't have fish or bait or structure. And that perspective mode for $100, man, it really adds a lot of value to be able to eliminate water quickly.
I think to clarify, perspective is you're literally, if you're standing on the bow of your boat, you're looking from the top down through the water column. Think of it like standing on the edge of a swimming pool and being able to look down through it and see what's going on. It's a unique idea to look at it that way. You know, normal live imaging is usually vertical in some fashion. This gives you a true perception of where fish are in relationship to your boat, schooling shad if you're throwing cast net, chasing fish in flats and things like that. It's just a really excellent tool, specifically the perspective mode in this application.
There's a question on screen. How far out does perspective mode see?
You know, as you can see, it all depends on water clarity and your current conditions that you have out. So if you look at a range right here, this is where generally and the other thing you have to remember, and I catch myself this way too, I'm a bass boat guy, don't kill me guys. This viewpoint here is based off of where your transducer is located. So if you've got your transducer on a pole mount on the side of the boat, it's going to be 4 or 5 feet back from the bow. So if you're looking at placing a castment, or if you're looking at trying to cast to a fish, you have to remember your point of origin is starting where the transducer is, not where the bow of the boat is. But as you can see here, we're 100 feet out, and we're basically taking that 135-degree viewpoint out to the left and to the right. But again, that really depends on what some of your water conditions are as well too. This is more of a shallow water presentation, or excuse me, a shallow water application. And shallow, I mean like 15, 20 feet and shallower. It does not work that well out in deep water at all. This is in the springtime. I'm looking for the creek channels, or in Texas, you all call them drains down there. That's where I'm looking through, where that's going to run through a flat. I will find those bends. I will find the edges of the structure. I will find where there is a piece of structure where the shad directly are. Because that, whether you're catfishing, crappie, bass, hybrids, those fish are following bait. I mean, they're lazy in general.
And like a real direct answer, something I want to show right here. You can see as the range stretches out, like he said, it's at 100 feet right now. You can watch the definition lessen.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys can see that on the screen. I can tell you from personal experience, it's something you can definitely see. You know, when they say 100 feet out, things like that, realistically, in high definition, you're probably closer to 50, 60 feet out. This one, again, this is demo mode. It's showing it's at 30 feet. From our experience with it, 15 feet down and about 50 feet out is really its bread and butter. And that's something to kind of keep in mind with all sonar technology. They're going to be advertised that they can shoot out that far, and they most certainly can, but you're going to get diminishing returns that are going to just get worse and worse the further out you go. So you're better off focusing in closer, keeping your higher detail, instead of trying to really stretch it as far as you can get it.
Does it work in muddy waters?
It does. So El Dorado Lake is a very, very muddy. I mean, sometimes some parts of the year, 2-3 inches visibility at all. It's kind of, I guess you consider our home lake, actually. It's where we do a lot of our product videos on, our installations on, and stuff like that. And we've seen really, really good returns on this stuff from there. Now, is it a little bit more muddled? Is it a little bit more grainy? Yes, because we've got a lot more debris moving through the water. If you have current situations of very, very heavy current, again, it'll get a little grainier on you or a little bit more blurry. But especially for structure, man, anything that is very rock hard, solid oriented sticks out like a sore thumb on this stuff.
And on that, with the water thing, I can actually show you guys something here. So, and this carries across all brands. It's something that's kind of an easy trick you can do. Yeah, we can kind of roll out of the way here. Color schemes are a big deal on your electronics in general. You can, when you start looking at changing your gain and all that and really getting precise, that's great. But a lot of times when you're on the fly, as simple as changing your color scheme clears that up. So let me kick back again. So here's your amber, and you can see all the background noise up top here. If I change this down to a more subtle color that's not as bright, you can see that definition really get there. It changes the contrast on it completely. And that's something, again, not just with the Garmin LiveScope, but with the new Lowrence Active Target, we've seen the same things. It's not the same color scheme.
It's the same on side imaging, down imaging. What may work great for my eyes may not work well for you, or what works on a sunny day may not work well on a cloudy day. And another thing I want to drive home, guys, don't be afraid to play with these settings. I mean, you can always go back to factory restore and go right back to the factory default setting. Almost every single unit out there, even from your lower end range to your high end, work tremendously right out of the box, plugging them in and going. Just as long as you got a good power supply source and you have the transducer mounted correctly. Truly, a lot of the issues that we have with customers having issues or hard time understanding or deciphering stuff is bad transducer placement and the unit's not having the correct power supply source.
We had one question. Have you seen many of the LiveScope applications on a kayak?
Yes. Actually, yeah, surprisingly. So one of the awesome things about this technology is the longer it's been out, we've seen absolute cases to where I never thought it would be relevant. And boy, was I way wrong. I mean, kayak anglers, absolutely. John, one of our sales guys here, big time kayak angler, fishes kayak bass tournaments all over. A lot of guys go crappie fishing and end up using that. So They've got different pull mounts, different options for kayakers where you still have full rotation of LiveScope and stuff like that. One of the big things that I want to say is we kind of had to eat some crow. And I say we as in all the electronics manufacturers and suppliers over about the past decade, because in early 2000s, when I was kind of chasing the tour level stuff and traveling all over the country, they literally used to pound into our heads. If you idle over something with side imaging and down imaging, and if you don't see a white mark or what they call a ghost or a rice grain, there's no fish there on that structure, you just keep on going. You're more efficient. You're more efficient. Well, we're like, oh, wow, we want to be more efficient. We're not going to waste our time. Well, I've really learned with LiveScope, you can idle over a brush pile and not see anything. And I literally not see anything. And I traditionally would have been, nope, I'm going to be efficient, keep going. Well, now I've learned I can turn around with LiveScope and stare at that, still not see anything. Put a lure in that, and you'll literally watch something come off that brush pile or come out deep at that base that you could not see that was there. So just because you have all this technology and think that nothing is there, there can absolutely be something so tight to that cover you never knew. Catfish notoriously being right on the bottom. We can look at this with whether you're kayak fishing or regular fishing and see moving on the bottom. They have a feature here that we'll get into that's called trails, and we can literally watch disturbances under the water to see that there are fish holding tightly to the bottom. But absolutely, kayak anglers, it really works. They actually have a more cost-effective LiveScope, but it's a lot more limiting. So they have what's called an LVS12 that we've actually installed on a bunch of kayaks. You don't have as far a degree range in terms of, I think it's 135 on LiveScope, basically would be vertical. This only gives you 45. So it's a lot more limiting.
I think it's like 30. It's really tight.
35.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more limiting to you at what you can do on that. But yeah, absolutely. We're seeing that without a doubt.
And the LVS 12 that he's talking about is a really good application for kayaks because as opposed to the standard LiveScope, that's the LVS 32, just to clarify that.
Big black box.
Yeah, it requires the black box. The LVS 12, although it only hooks up to certain units, doesn't require a black box, so it saves a lot of power usage, which is a big deal on kayaks.
And it's $1,000 difference in price too, so it's a significant price savings also.
It makes a really big deal. I've goofed around with it on some kayaks. I found it was really nice for me, like since it's a narrower angle. I did a split screen with that live imaging and down imaging. And I made sure that my depths were consistent across both screens. So if something was out of my live imaging frame, and again, this is kayak, so I'm trying to conserve power here, I could rotate that like a flashlight, and I could find in the water column where things were hanging out and get a closer look with it. So yeah, absolutely wonderful applications in kayak and ways to save power, which is a big deal. Yeah.
Well, I have two questions. One is about something else. It's about MegaLive.
Yeah.
And so I want you to get to that. But there's a question talking about what you're talking about right now. Can you talk about the power supply problems and tricks? Also, the amount of power needed to what type of battery you need.
Absolutely.
Always recommend bare minimum an AGM 31 series battery. Bare minimum. If you're talking a lot of units, and I mean 4 or 5 units, LiveScope and stuff like that, I want to run a dedicated battery just for the electronics. We want to run 10 gauge wire from the battery, wherever that is. You're mounting the battery into the console, you're mounting the battery in the back. Every unit that leaves our installation shop has one set of 10 gauge wire being dedicated to it. There are products out there. I think C Clear Power is one of them, and there's some other ones out there. I personally do not have any experience with them. I don't like having a bus bar. I don't like having other things that could potentially fail. So what we do is we run all the fuses that traditionally would be where the unit power connects to a power, whether that's in the boat or 10 gauge wire. We put all the way in the very back in the battery compartment, right by the battery that is used to supply the electronics. So if you ever blow a fuse, you're not digging up underneath the console. You're not digging in a compartment trying to figure out where the fuses are, moving stuff around on tournament day or when you're out fishing. You just go back to the back compartment, open up your fuse holders. Oh, that one popped and blown. Let me replace it, and you're good to go. You don't have to take apart a whole dash panel and stuff.
That's good.
Yeah, and like you said, that 10 gauge dedicated power, we use 10 gauge shielded marine grade wire.
It's tinned.
and yeah, it's wrapped in, it's tin and wrapped in tin.
Yeah.
And it's it's massively important for interference issues, especially on your aluminum boats, which I know you guys run a lot of those. And it's dedicated per unit. Now, like the case of a LiveScope you're just talking about, that counts as a unit, that black box. So if you're running, for example, if you've got 2 units at the bow and a LiveScope or a 360 or whatever, so we would have 3 dedicated runs of 10 gauge wire going just to the bow.
3 separate sets.
So it's 1 for each unit. The bus bars, when you talk about power, and we can get like,
that's what we do.
You can go really like electrical engineering and super precise on it. The fact of the matter is, it's less voltage related and more amperage related. So having that larger gauge wire that's dedicated, you're not going to see the drops in amps that you experience through a bus bar or a fuse box, things like that. That's the most common one, right?
We try to eliminate points of failure, not add points of failure into something.
Well, using that 10 gauge wire from one battery running to separate units. I mean, I've always heard, I've been in this business a long time, fishing like you did, interference with having this Lowrence side by side. Are they interfering with each other?
No, because they're all separate. That's the main thing. Another big thing is you try to eliminate having a transducer cord running side by side, but that's why you want shielded tin wire. That shielding prevents having that electronic interference getting out and around, so you're not having that fed.
So it's the wire application, not literally the unit.
Correct.
Supposed to.
It's electronic noise is what it is what interference is that you're picking up.
When you see all those like those magnetic ferrets and things like that, that's what they're trying to eliminate. Those go on the wires themselves, and generally the transducer wires. And it's to get rid of, like he said, electronic noise.
But the problem with that is when you get to a point that you're starting to have ferrets on your transducer wire to eliminate noise and noise rejection, you're losing image quality and you're losing effectiveness of that transducer, because that ferret is trying to absorb that noise and not have it come across the screen. So you're losing a lot by doing that.
But yeah, the shielded wire takes care of that 99% of the time.
Now, do you guys carry that as far as if I needed to hook me something up, I can, like 200 foot of that wire or whatever needed?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm assuming you can't go to Lowe's and get it.
No, not quite.
It's a specific marine application, but most of your big box stores like West Marine carries it. A lot of times your Cabela's and Bass Pro, they'll have like 20-foot section or 25-foot section. Of course, we've got it by the 1,000-foot spools here, because each boat application comes in differently, and we need different run lengths and stuff like that.
We talked about, if you've got 3 or 4 units at the bow on a 20-foot boat, you run through wire pretty quick. You go through a lot of wire here.
Do you guys want to mention talk about Megascope?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, Mega Live.
Yeah.
Mega Live.
Okay.
This is a fun topic.
I have to be very careful about what we say about this.
Okay.
Man, let me see how I can word this correctly here. So, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Knowing what we know with LiveScope and knowing what we know with Active Target, it's difficult for me to think that the returns or images would be really, really good on this, because considering it does not have its own processor, aka a black box, or a module that's powered and processes the data. We know from experience over the years, working very closely with Lowrence and some other people, that this generates a ton of data, a lot of data coming into a live imaging transducer. And there's some products out that we've seen in offshore applications that Mega Live resembles very, very closely. The application that we've seen was mostly for, I want to say like ocean, not rescues as much as like recovery of like ships, debris, boats that have sunk and stuff like that. Has been very closely related to that. And the images on that sort of stuff are very, very good.
Yeah.
But at the same point, Humminbird does things a lot differently, and we see been very, very successful at it. One case in point being is, we know when you have more crystals in a transducer and your transducer gets longer, your imaging gets better. So Lowrence transducers on their side imaging are very, very long. They generally have good returns. We've seen it with Garmin. The GT56, their new transducer, is about 1.5 inches longer than their GT54 and their GT34. And their imaging is better because they got more crystals and their transducers longer. So we know that's factual. The longer transducer is generally, we get better returns. But we see a transducer like a Helix, MSI, G3N, Mega Plus. It is shorter and stubbier than a Lowrence or a Garmin and has amazing side imaging returns. So
it's hard. And I think, the specific thing with us right now is the lack of the black box. I pulled something here to kind of show an example. So this is LiveScope again, but to kind of hammer home what we mean when we're saying a lot of information. So a LiveScope is literally 6 transducers. Active target's the same. So if you see these little rays here on the screen, those are images coming over from 6 transducers, and that is all stitched together by the black box to create one image. Active target from Lowrence, exactly the same. So our thoughts is Humminbird, again, they're obviously doing great things in imaging through side imaging. It's how do they take that knowledge that they have and stitch a large number of transducer images into a single image without the use of that additional black box processing amplifier, basically.
Now, I will say one thing.
So we don't know, man.
Yeah, I will say one thing we're really excited about. We've seen this in the past from Lowrence. They've been super good that anytime, like active target, for example, not only does it work on live units, it works on a past generation of carbon units as well. That's been exciting. We've seen that with Garmin as well, where LiveScope's working on 7600 series, which have been discontinued. So it's good that you can go back and not have to upgrade to new units. Well, Humminbird, I think, kind of learned their lesson on that when they had Mega 360. Does not work on a Mega unit. A Mega 360 on Humminbird works on a Mega Plus unit to give you that quality image. Well, we're now finding out that Mega Live will work on the newest G4N Helixes. It'll work on all Solix units. It will also work on the G3 Helix units as well, too. So, again, there's a lot of unknowns there. Truth be told, we have not got to play with this thing in person yet at all to see what sort of quality comparisons we have between LiveScope and Lowrence. I would tend to think that they know what kind of caliber of imaging they need to bring to the market to be competitive, and it needs to be this bare minimum for damn sure, if not better. So, it's kind of a hurry up and wait kind of situation. And then with COVID kind of being thrown into loop with having huge manufacturer delays, we've seen that on all 3 brands across the board, don't get me wrong. But specifically when trying to bring out a new product, it's really made it a lot more difficult getting some stuff to the market and getting it completed.
I think a lot of people are really excited. The initial idea was to launch in March. March is Monday. So and so that's one thing with us that, again, we don't know.
We're trying to be really careful with dates and keep in mind we're putting out information that we're being told from the manufacturer, from all of them across the board, but it's literally changing constantly. I mean, we've found it even in manufacturing stuff for our branded products all across the board that there's been a lot more delays and material sourcing issues.
So we'll hope to see real images of Mega Live soon.
Yeah, that we can
release. And we really hope that comes out soon and we can get a better grasp of it. And of course, it'll be on the YouTube channel, right? So people can check it out.
Yeah. I hope that answered his question. Major Brown was really wanting to hear about that. So there you go. One thing that I think has been referenced in the comments is, there's a lot of I know a lot of bank anglers, really good guys. They don't care to own boats. They love fishing off the bank. What kind of imaging is there other than Navionics on your phone? Is there anything that you have or that you can see coming out kind of like that would benefit the bank angler?
Dude, absolutely. So around here, we're cold now, but we get a lot of guys in the wintertime. They go fishing off the docks. They're crappie guys or walleye guys or hybrid guys. What we found that works extremely well, go find like an ice fishing pack. They're portable. They got little lithium batteries. You can get out. If you're out on a tree somewhere, you can stick that thing directly down, look in a tree. You can walk a bank and hold a pole in the water to be able to eliminate water. You can literally do the exact same thing that you can do from a boat. You're just doing it from the bank. In fact, one of our water rescue units and packs that we have for our EMS team here in town that we've been out with before, it's literally a handheld unit that you can utilize for anything, whether that's on a boat, if you choose to get a boat later, or a kayak or a canoe, or it's independent. You can walk on a bank or walk out on a fallen tree that's in the lake and look around it and see what's down there. It's pretty incredible what you can do.
Like we talked about, especially. Go ahead, Steve.
One of the questions I get a lot is, a lot of these new anglers starting out, they don't have the $60,000 boat.
Sure.
I often have them ask, what's the best unit to buy for like under $800 or under $500?
Oh, dude. Honestly, any of the brands out there they got, you can get a lot of stuff even for not even that much, $500. Holy cow. You can get a lot of times a 7-inch unit, side imaging. Again, even bank fishermen can use side imaging and stuff like that. The thing I really like about getting like a $500 unit and like an ice, what do they call them, shuttles, I think it is. If you rent a boat or a canoe, it's literally an all-inclusive pack.
Along with that too, something, and it's a double-edged sword, but it's something to think about. So you can get into like Lowrence hook, Garmin Striker. Those are some of the big, on a great budget-minded thing. The other thing is, and this is a bit of a sales thing, I know it's not regard, but we take trade-ins.
Yeah.
And we sell a tremendous amount of used units. And a lot of times that's a really, really good avenue for someone to come in, and they can get an excellent unit. It may be a couple, 3 years old, but they can get a great price. I mean, we sell some 12-inch units for $800 or $900, like in the Lowrence Elite series. And then we offer a warranty on them, even though they're used.
We fully check them out, make sure they fully function. And all
so
that's
something that, I like to recommend to people a lot, young anglers, high school anglers, or people that just want to get out and they don't want to go spend, $1,000, $2,000 on this stuff. Used inventory is a great way to go about that. Do you
have that option on your site, your website?
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
Yeah, we have a used inventory tab on there. It usually gets updated on Thursdays. We take in a tremendous amount of trades. We
do over 1,500 used units a year.
Yeah,
I might be doing that. I'm not happy with my unit.
Well, no, and a lot of times
for
people, it's super easy and super affordable for people because, hey, I bought a boat that's rigged out with this, and these are 7-inch units, but I want 12s. A lot of times, same transducer, same power cord, so it's pulling a head unit off and replacing it with just a bigger head unit. Cool. Most times, not always.
And generally speaking, we're going to take the ones you take off and trade also.
Yeah.
So you can still trade used units for used units. So
hey guys, we got 7 minutes left. Do you
do
a quick run? Yeah, I mean that 40 minutes flew by.
It did.
So all right, so let's diagnose what I need. All right, I fish Santee Cooper. Let's say Lake Moultrie, which is
I know Santee Cooper. Never heard of the other one.
Well, Lake Moultrie is Santee Cooper.
Okay.
It's
the twins. Okay.
All right. So go. I need a trolling motor and unit package. How do we start that?
What do you already have on your boat?
I have a Lowrence 777.
Okay.
Split shot.
Are you comfortable with the operating system? Do you find that you can go through everything fairly easily?
I'd rather have a touch screen.
Okay.
What's the boat? This is a big one here. What boat are you running?
A 20-foot Bennington pontoon.
Okay. So right now, are you running a 12 volt? You have no trolling motor at all, or do you have a trolling motor?
I have a Minn Kota 24 volt system.
24 volt. Okay, great. So on those, you've got a lot of options you can run through on the trolling motors. Usually, you're going to need a little bit longer shaft length on those guys, and you might have to sacrifice a little bit as far as where you mount it. So do you have like a front center gate on the rail? Actually,
I was just going for like a scenario. Like my trolling motor's fine, but let's say that I didn't have one. So I have a half gate and it swings out.
Okay.
How do you fish? Are you looking for remote controllability? Are you wanting to control the trolling motor from your unit?
I want to be able to do it all.
Okay. For your application, for what you're looking, you're going to need to really stick with a Minn Kota and a Humminbird setup for what's available currently on the market. So trolling motor wise, you got a couple options. You got a Tarova, which is a standard Minn Kota product that's been out on the market for a long time. It's proven. It's awesome. It is a sliding shaft trolling motor, so it's a lot easier for mounting on pontoons and stuff. Or you have the auto stow and deploy, which is your Altera. Now, the only thing that I will caution you with is an Altera. If you go out when it's water temps 45 degrees, but it's 20 degrees outside, I would not recommend going with an Altera. We've stripped gears. We've broken belts on them. It's created quite a nightmare, but a lot of guys like the feature of I get to a spot, I never leave the captain's chair. I hit a button, trolling motors down, and I'm controlling everything from there.
Yeah. Unit-wise, so to pair with that, you're wanting touchscreen, so you're in the Solix family. When you look at Humminbird, you have Helix. Helix are a non-touch screen. The great beep machine, as I like to call them, you just hit its buttons all the time. Just beep, 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 beep. But the Solix is a touch screen unit. On your pontoon boat, depending on what size you want to go, you can go anywhere from a 10 all the way up to a 15. So, I mean, a 20-foot pontoon boat, a 15 will fit. I'm just saying, if you want to go there. But
I have a ram. It's a ram mount system.
Yeah.
Well,
you can fit anything.
You don't need a ram mount anymore. So this is one of our products. This is a Versa mount. It's a all aluminum mount. It's heavily adjustable. They're very, very durable. And it'll fully support the weight of a 15-inch unit, no problem. Quick little story on that. We just had a customer on Sam Rayburn, I think, speared a big old wave with a 16-inch Garmin on a Versa mount. It deployed his trolling motor, made a giant mess, and that thing did not move.
And it's fully adjustable. The tool to adjust everything is actually on the mount and holds the base in place. So,
hey, I'm gonna tell you straight up, that is crazy. A 16-inch TV.
Oh yeah.
Who would ever thought that?
You know, it's really funny. Garmin, in particular, they make outlandishly large units because they're so big and offshore. And believe it or not, you can get a Garmin 8624.
Yeah.
Are you talking 86 inches wide?
24, no, 86 series. It's a 24-inch unit. And we've had people like, I need that for my LiveScope. I don't like my eyes. I'm like,
I need that for my living room.
Yeah.
But you can also cheat it like we're doing here. You can run an HDMI cable and run it to a TV. This is really big up north for ice fishermen in their ice shacks and their campers.
This is what we're working on.
Yeah.
And it's just
working HDMI off a 12-inch unit, HDMI'd over.
But yeah, I mean, on that pontoon boat, you can go any series there, but you know, a Tarova is excellent. We're just not huge fans of the Altera just because of the fail rate on those guys. And a nice Solix unit. Paired in, do a built-in transducer on that Tarova. You can get it with side imaging built in if you'd like, or you can do your side imaging transducer on the back of the boat. It just depends on what you want to spend your time. Catfish guys, you're going to do a lot of trolling. You're probably going to be on the back. You can have your full spot lock settings and everything else on your current 24-volt system. You know, run dedicated wiring back to your cranking battery, and you will be ready to rock and getting excellent side imaging and finding fish.
Yeah, I actually got a unit without side imaging, so I had to buy the transducer.
Yeah.
So I have to trade out that transducer, I guess.
Yeah.
There you go.
Here's a question. I'm looking for something with down scan, side scan, ability to contour map out the water I fish. My waters aren't on provided maps, so I need something that makes maps.
Yeah.
Good question.
All three of them offer that ability to do that, and you can get into all of them between $800 and $1,000 for that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Garmin's. Garmin has an Active Captain app. It's like, as far as the user apps, I think it's the most user friendly.
It is, yeah.
And they have a mapping that you can go on and you can share with other people as well. So it's a mapping community within the Active Captains. So around here in Kansas, we have a lot of sand pits. Obviously, they're not generally mapped by Garmin, but if you are a part of that community and have other Garmin users that want to share their mapping, you can literally go out in a rowboat and you can make a map of a sand pit and then share it with others as well.
Or you can keep it private.
Or you can keep it private if you don't want to share that.
Yeah, the spot pirates will get you now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Bad pull pattern.
Well, hey, we appreciate you guys. Everyone in chat, Russell Marine is running a 15% discount on all Russell Marine brand products on their website. Just use the code CatCon21, all caps.
Yep.
CatCon21, all caps, to save 15% on Russell Marine brand products on their website. And if you don't live in the state of Kansas, you just give these fellas a call and they will work with you.
Love to talk to you guys.
You know, everybody's a Zoom professional now.
Yeah, right.
Because, you know, our kids complain because they'll never have another snow day ever again.
Right. Yeah. If you don't mind, I can throw out the phone number and everything.
Go ahead.
Yeah, give us a call. It's 316.
Hang on one second.
No problem.
Go for it. 316.
313-4113. Or you can reach us at sales@russellmarineproducts.com. So we have 3 dedicated sales guys all the time on the phones, but over the last few months here, we're upwards of like 300 to 400 calls a day.
Wow.
So if you, we love talking to you guys. We do our very best to get back on voicemails as quickly as possible. And if you're needing something quicker, email works wonderful as well. So just don't be discouraged if you don't get through right away. We will call you back because we really do want to talk to everybody.
We want to help you guys catch more fish. That's what we're passionate about. It's what we love to do. And we all enjoy that same passion.
You'll be hearing from me for sure.
Give us a call.
Awesome.
Well, gentlemen, we appreciate your time today. And listen, I think if you're all game for it, I may go live on my personal YouTube channel sometime. I mean, because I think we could talk a little bit longer on this subject that everybody's really would like to hear more about.
I'd love to be on our boat or something when our lake gets unfrozen. We're
frozen right now.
But just to going over stuff, just to have people what we're looking for. Yeah, we're in a bass boat. It may be different for your guys, but a fish is a fish as far as I'm concerned. You know, so there's a lot of things that will cross over.
Structure.
Yeah,
that's right.
Absolutely.
We'd love to. Thank you for having us, guys. We really appreciate it.
All right. Y'all have a great one.
Take care,
guys. See ya.
Bye-bye.
All right. Next up at 9:55 will be Bluff City Outdoors. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.